In this video, we are going to read a story about a little bunny named Pat. We're going to go on an interactive adventure with him, exploring all kinds of magical textures, feelings, and sounds. Gotcha! It's bedtime soon, and you are invited to join us on our very special sensory story. Are you ready? When my daddy gets home from work, I like to greet him with a big hug. I love to feel his soft beard scratch my nose. He smells like dirt and grass, and sometimes even sunshine. But today, when Daddy came home, he was extra tired. His beard tickled my face as he sat down in a big armchair. Daddy yawned so widely that I could see his pink tongue. I wonder what it would feel like to have a tongue that color. It would be so squishy. I wonder if it would taste like carrots, or maybe strawberries. Daddy pulled out a worn leather book with gold-embossed letters. It smelled like old paper and vanilla. I wonder if it's a magic book. Maybe we can read an adventure story before bed. But let's look inside together, and here we go. A little rabbit, with soft fur and velvet paws, was hopping happily through the tall grass. His name was Pat, and he loved to explore. Pat wiggled his wet, twitchy nose and twitched his fluffy tail. When the wind blew, it sounded like whispering voices saying, "Pat the bunny, come play with us." He wanted to stop and listen, but Pat had to finish his important mission. He was on a quest to find the most wonderful feeling in the whole wide world. We're going on an adventure with Pat the bunny tonight, so next time you hear whispering voices, don't just walk right by. Remember to pat the tall grasses like this, just like Pat. Listen closely. Can you hear them now? They're getting louder. The whispering voices are inviting us to play with them.
Ow.
Let's do it. As Pat hopped along, the whispering voices grew louder and louder. Suddenly they stopped. Pat looked around, but there was no one there. Then he felt something strange. Something soft, round, and squishy was tickling his belly. What was it? Pat took a closer look. It was a big, beautiful feather. Pat had never seen anything like it before. He reached out his velvet paws and gently touched it. The feather tickled his nose. It felt so good. Pat couldn't help himself. He snuggled up to the feather and closed his eyes. It was the softest, fluffiest thing he had ever felt. Have you ever found a really soft feather? Sometimes they feel like tiny little brushes on your fingers. Let's try. Gently stroke this soft feather just like Pat, and let the whispering voices wash over you. Feel how calm and peaceful it makes you. After a while, Pat knew it was time to go. He stood up, shook his fur, and continued on his quest. Soon his paws began to feel funny. They were sinking into something soft and squishy. Pat opened his eyes. He was surrounded by big, colorful marshmallows. They were soft and bouncy and jiggly. Pat had never seen marshmallows outside of his kitchen. Where did they come from? And why are they all different colors? Do you want to explore the magical land of marshmallows with me? Blah, 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 blah. Hop into the screen and pat each marshmallow as you find them. Look, there's a blue one. And a green one. Ooh, and a yellow one. Let's try to pat every single color. Blue, green, yellow. Wow, this place is amazing. It feels like being on a cloud. The whispering voices said, "Pat the bunny, come play with us." But Pat was too busy counting the marshmallows. He wanted to take one home to show his daddy. As he hopped away, he heard a giggle and turned around. There was no one there.
Wait.
But then he saw it. Something sparkly and shiny was bouncing up and down on a rock nearby. Pat had never seen anything like it before. He carefully approached the rock and peeked over it. Pat gasped. There was a whole field of sparkling rocks. Some were big and some were small, but all of them glittered and shone. Their edges sparkled just like cut glass. Pat wanted to touch one, but he was afraid he might get hurt. Will you help me explore this magical place? Peek over the edge of the screen and touch these shiny rocks. Be careful not to touch the sharp edges. Just run your finger across their surfaces and let their light wash over you. You may even discover that you can make some magical wishes here. As Pat skipped through the shiny rocks, he heard a giggle. But this time, he wasn't scared. Pat stopped, turned around, and saw a little girl with sparkling wings sitting on a rock. She smiled at Pat and waved. "Hello," she said. "I'm the Fairy of Feelings. Thank you for visiting my magical land. Would you like to play with me?" Pat nodded his little bunny head. And the Fairy of Feelings said, "Close your eyes and make a wish." Pat closed his eyes tight, and thought of the softest, fluffiest thing he could imagine. When he opened his eyes, he saw a brand new fluffy tail in front of him. It was even softer and fluffier than his old one. Pat was so happy. Thank you, Fairy of Feelings. This is the best feeling in the whole wide world. The Fairy of Feelings giggled. It's because you found your own feeling. You will carry this feeling with you forever. Whenever you need to remember it, close your eyes, think of this magical place, and feel the softest, fluffiest thing you can imagine. Then the Fairy of Feelings waved her magic wand. Now it's time for you to go home. Pat, take the magic feeling with you and use it to comfort those who are feeling sad or scared. Pat bowed his head. Thank you, Fairy of Feelings. I won't forget. And with that, Pat turned and headed towards home. Are you ready to go home now, too? We've been on quite the adventure. I bet you're tired. It's time for bed. Pat snuggled up in his warm bed and closed his eyes. He dreamed of soft feathers, squishy marshmallows, and shiny rocks. And every time he felt scared or worried, he remembered the magic feeling, and it made him feel safe and loved. If you enjoyed our sensory adventure, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below telling us which part was your favorite. And always remember to keep exploring the world with your 5 senses. You never know what magical things you might find. One last thing. This story was inspired by the classic children's book Pat the Bunny by Dorothy Cunhart. We hope you enjoyed our sensory adventure based on her wonderful story. If you'd like to experience more calming adventures like this one, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss any of our new videos.